Hey, warrior. I want to ask you something. Who are you? I mean, I got to get up close on this camera because I got to ask you, who are you? And I don't mean who are you showing up as in the office. I don't mean who are you showing up as in your relationships or your friendships at the grocery store, at the department store, at the gas station. Who are you when no one else is looking? Is that your authentic self? And I don't mean what you do, not your role, but who are you? Like me, I consider myself part of me to be a warrior. I am a woman and I'm a Black woman, and I feel that that's all part of my identity. But I also feel that at times I have to hide that identity and I don't get to be my authentic self. In in this world right now, there people are craving authenticity and people are craving vulnerability because we've gotten behind our computers and we've gotten behind our phones and on Instagram and Facebook and Twitter and whatever else, and we're always putting on a show, or maybe we feel like we always have to put on a show. We feel that we have to show up as someone else that we're not, or who we're not fully, so we can get a promotion, so that we can be heard in the meeting. But gosh, aren't you tired? Aren't you tired of always having to show up as someone else or 80% of who you are? And are you working someplace where you can't show up as yourself? What are you waiting for? I used to feel that way. I used to feel like I always had to show up as, maybe 50% of who I am. And I had a former manager and mentor and advisor, and he said to me, Nile, I think you should go out on your own because you're a lot and you're a good a lot. I love your a lot. Your a lot helps me. And I think that you're great. I don't think that you will be able to ever fully bring yourself to some other organizations. And that hit me. I had to think about that. And I, reflect on that conversation a lot. I had that conversation, frankly, I want to say maybe 5 or 6 months ago. And all I want to do, honestly, is show up as my authentic self. And I want to be the unicorn that I am. This is the unicorn that sits on my desk, and it's one of the many unicorns around my house that reminds me of how special I am and how okay it is to be special. And if you're tired, I want you to take a deep breath. Just wherever you are, whatever you're doing, whoever you are, it's okay. It's okay to be you. It's okay to be authentic. And three ways that you can do that is by one, I want you to journal tonight. I want you to write down on the top of a piece of paper or in a notebook and ask yourself, who am I? And I want you to free write. I just want you to write because you're probably going to start with what you do, and that's okay. And you're going to go into your roles, and that's okay. And your roles might be mom, might be sister, dad, boss, entrepreneur, pilot, whatever. But then I want you to start to get down to the essence of who you are and what you want your life to mean, what you want to do with your dash. After you write that down, the second thing I want you to think about is, what are your superpowers? What are your gifts? And, these might not be gifts that you're sharing with the world. They might not even be work related. I know we tend to think a lot about work. I know I think a lot about work. But what are your superpowers? What are your gifts? What are the things that people gravitate toward you for? And I just said don't think about work, but strategy is my jam. I love strategy, but it's not just strategy at work. Like, I strategize about everything. I strategize about how I lay out my office, about my personal finances, because my superpower is closing the strategy to execution gap. And what I mean is, I take what's up here and I make it manifest. That is my super gift, my superpower, and I can do it for others. So think about what your superpowers are. And then number three, I want you to do one thing tomorrow. One thing, or today. Don't wait. Do it today. Do one thing today that is uniquely you, that you don't do or show the world that's appropriate to show. One thing that you do that is uniquely you, that you don't typically show the world. For me, one of the things that scared me was when I returned to natural hair. I was afraid to go into work with my natural hair. They've been used to seeing my hair straight for years, more than a decade. And I just walked in there and wow, they loved it. But I want you to do one thing that scares you, that is your unique self, and I want you to bring it into your space, wherever that space is, your workspace, your home space, your outdoor space, your friendship space, wherever that space is. I want you to bring that space into you. So what is that again? One, get a notebook and journal, write down who you are. Two, I want you to think about your superpower. What is your gift? What is your superpower? And three, do one thing today that is uniquely you, that you have been hiding from the world.